Hello guys, how are you doing? Today we will talk about the mapping iceberg created by me since I haven't found one on Reddit or on any other social media. This iceberg was created with the help of other mappers as well, which I thank especially. Order the links of their channels will be provided on the pinned comments, so check them out as well after have finished to watch this video. I'm so happy that I've reached 800 subs. It's a very important goal for me since I am very close to reach 1000 subscribers, but also because I thought that I would have not reached any other goals after the 500. I have been part of the mapping community since 2020, so 3 years ago, but I've started to watch actively mapping content since 2018. Oh my god, I'm becoming old, because it is a mix of my favorite school subjects such as politics, geography and history. Before starting, remember to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel, but also to check my Discord server too. Well, without further notes, we can start to dive into this iceberg, where we will start from the top where there are the most well-known facts. When the shorts on YouTube were introduced, a lot of mappers saw a potential way to increase their number of views, something that actually worked and started a revolution in the mapping community in all its aspects on YouTube. In the same period, there were new trends, one called Nation, All Endings, which was about a compilation of endings, sort of like alternative universes. For a nation, the nation versus nation, where two nations or even more were compared and the one with more points won, and then the M Nation trend, which was basically a now versus before but with countries on maps. These two combined led to the creation of the YouTubers, which took over not only the YouTube shorts, but also the other social medias, leading to the start of a new era and a new generation of mappers. When the mapping community became more centralized around 2014, a lot of Discord started to host a lot of important events and festivals, the most important one being the still celebrated Summer Mapping Festival, an event hosted by a lot of famous mappers like Cheesy Raffles and divided in different days where mappers can show trailers or new episodes of their series, a good way to help small creators to become more relevant. The Alternate Future of Europe and Alternate History of Europe series are probably the most famous type of content in the mapping community, which can even date back to 2010, marking the beginning of the first mapping era. These types of series talk about an alternative future or historical universe where the continent has a drastic change of events, led by several factors, like geopolitics, wars or new alliances. There are also other variants, such as the Alternate Future of Asia, Africa, Oceania, both Americas and even the world, but also other small variants, such as the alternate future of a specific country. Throughout the years, the mapping community has become very big, and this led to debates over several arguments, such as the one about the most famous mapper. This debate started when base Bulgarian mapper became the first most subscribed mapper, which saw an opposition from the fanbase of Jalila, and another famous content creator not officially recognized as a mapper, of which we will talk about later. The situation worsened when Romanian mapping became popular as well, and the situation repeated and became almost a joke when other content creators started to rise, like Smart Banana and recently both the YouTubers the Italian Ball, followed by Korak mapping. The country balls have become a symbol in the mapping community at the end of the first era, when a lot of mappers used to have as their profile picture a logo or an image downloaded from Google. At the start, a lot of mappers were against the introduction of country balls, but throughout the years, thanks to famous mappers like Japanese mapping, Serbian mapping, base Bulgarian and Cheesy Raffles, the country balls became one of the main symbols of the community. Paint and Sketch are probably the most used programs to create maps. Paint is mostly used by PC mappers and is the first program ever used for mapping content, while Sketch is mostly used by mobile mappers, including me, and is still a good and free alternative. There are also other programs and apps, like Flipperclip, Scratch and Ibis Paint. The oldest format related to mapping are the historical mapping videos, historical events or nations shown on maps, introduced by Emperor Tagister, now a very famous mapper. 14 years ago, his first video was about the Napoleonic Wars, but his most well-known series is the History of Nation, every year, which has matured in the last years, a format proposed by other mappers, like Hurricane Hunter and Olibi, a type of content that is still alive and evolving today. Now we can start to dive into the second layer, where things start to get interesting. We can find some stuff that maybe you have not ever heard of. Weltreach is a lore created by WTFCD Foxy, a Bulgarian mapper with more than 16,000 subscribers, and it is the most famous lore in the mapping community. We will talk about the general lore concept later. The first teaser dates back to 2019 and the first official video was uploaded at the end of the same year, where the main aspects and story of the lore were presented, inspired from HenryEditz, a mod from Hearts of Iron 4, but we will talk about it later as well. The story centers around a central power victory in World War I, so a dominated world by the German Empire which was drafted into a Cold War against the Soviet Union and its allies, the ex-Entente, now under syndicalist government since they have fallen into revolutions after the defeat in the Great War, but the situation will escalate further in 1993, when the Second World War started and where the Soviets won, leading to the end of German imperialism. Recently, the lore has developed a future as well, which goes all the way to 2089, with the start of the Third World War after 2 Cold Wars. The mapping movies are in most cases compilation of episodes from a specific season of a series, or even a complete one with the other seasons as well, which date back to the start of the creation of the Alternate Future of Europe series. The most iconic mapping movies are the ones made by Korean mapping, Japanese mapping, Italian Chris mapping, Portuguese mapper, Chinese production and many others as well. The lores are stories that are followed year by year and they are different from the Alternate History or Future of Europe series because the nations don't talk and they can focalize on single events, while the Alternate Histories, to not confuse with the already mentioned are simply videos about single nations or events explained in a different style, where nations don't talk and they act in the same way of the lores, which is why I put them together. Now we're starting to talk about the not so nice and edgy part of the mapping community, a place full of non-stop dramas. The fourth is a raiding organization created on Discord, which acted actively on YouTube as well, dedicated to the termination of mappers and of the mapping community as a whole, which has become known in the recent years for the raiding of Macedonia, of which we will talk about later. Cave Mapping is one of the most famous mappers on YouTube, with over 47,000 subscribers, 200 videos and 10+ million views in over 6 years. His first series was The Alternate Future of Vatican City, a great success at the time, followed by other great series at the time, like Alternate Future of Canada, Viewer Wars and Alternate Future of the World, probably his most successful series. He still uploads videos to this day, mostly about his new project, Alternate Future of Your World, where people write in the comments what should happen in the next episode, and I'm not gonna lie, the storyline is amazing. For those who don't know, GachaTubers are people who make videos using characters from apps like Gacha Life or Gacha Club and Holy Turkey. These videos have a huge amount of views, a very huge amount of views. Welp, the fight started when some of these figures known as anti-gacha joined the mapping community, since they became or were already mappers and started to raid, dox and even hack several well-known GachaTubers. The reason? The time has come to destroy cringe and degeneration. No, I'm not kidding, this is the reason, actually a very stupid one. I honestly don't hate GachaTubers in general, but holy she, what the hell is this? Get out from the internet, you unholy human being, or I'm going to use my not so holy AK-47. Now we will start to look into the third layer. We are reaching the first waters of the iceberg. The Viewer Wars are a type of mapping series created during the edgy period of mapping. It is a sort of roleplay, where the main protagonists are in real life people, and it works exactly like an Alternate Future of Europe series, where people can work together and form alliances, declare wars and even expand. Hearts of Iron 4 is a strategic game where people choose a nation and helps with the development and expansion of it. The game has several modes like HenryEditz or the New Order, where your choices lead you to several paths and endings, which will drastically change the geopolitical situation of the world in that universe. This game is one of the most played by mappers and it has become an actual symbol of the mapping community since the introduction of HenryEditz, a mod where the Central Powers won World War I, which has inspired Foxy to create Weltreach. The main troubles started when YouTube started to change its policies recently, becoming more family friendly, and obviously this led to several mapping channels to close. The situation worsened with a new problem, the inactivity in the several communities, leading to their total collapse or death. After a while, A lot of important Italian mappers like Kingdom of Italy mapper, the most famous Italian mapper, which has suddenly decided to temporarily quit the mapping community. Today the Italian mapping community has an uncertain future and probably the situation won't improve. A lot of mappers have their own Discord servers, most of them are very recent, but some are actually very old. In these servers, there is a specific hierarchy, which is divided into members, mods and then the owner. Most of the time, there is a general chat, where people can write about general stuff, one way you can post memes, another to advertise your videos and then another one for the announcements or news. Recently, mappers have started to upload videos on TikTok to gain more views, since this social has a lot of popularity. Most of these videos are short and don't show a lot of effort, and it's also a platform where people have been reported stealing and uploading on TikTok content that wasn't created by them. So you can actually tell that TikTok isn't a good place to actually start to produce and upload complex and long mapping videos. There are a lot of genres of mappers. We have seen some since the first layer, like the YouTubers, which mostly upload mapping content centered around trends, or the mapper-tubers, the ones who work on laws like me, and then the mappers on TikTok. There are other types as well, like the edgy and semi-edgy mappers, who mostly upload very edgy mapping videos, where nations usually declare wars over anything and insult each other. They're also the classic and neoclassic mappers, which have remained loyal to the original rules of mapping. Now we have reached the half of the iceberg, where we will talk about not so well known stuff, mostly if you have become a mapper recently, while if you have been part of this community before 2021, I may start to give you some nostalgia. Mapping podcasts are podcasts, the online version of interviews, where people ask several questions to the guest or talk about a specific argument. Most of the time they are very long, even lasting more than 1 hour. In the mapping community they have been introduced with Void Viper mapping, of which we will talk about later, which has his still running Mappercast podcast, with several guests like Cosmic Mapping and the Rat of Mapping. We can see Mapadonia as the official server of the mapping community, where mappers could advertise their servers, YouTube series and meet other mappers with common interests. Unfortunately, in 2021, Mapadonia was nuked by the already mentioned Fourth, which took over the server and even hacked some mappers, leading the creation of a new server, which in only 1 year basically became inactive. Smart Banana is a YouTube content creator which has a terrible reputation in the mapping community due to his content, most of the time addressed as a low-effort YouTuber which only cares about views and uses bright colors to attract young children to gain more views and money. He was also accused of collaborating with YouTube to gain more views and subs, maybe even using sub bots, but also to have helped the platform to terminate the channels of innocent mappers. Void Viper Mapping is one of the oldest mappers, which started to upload mapping content almost 9 years ago, with his first series being an alternate future of Europe but with its unique storyline and details, like the introduction of imaginary nations. He has also been one of the first mappers to use counterables and to introduce podcasts in the community. There are also other important series created by him that I should mention, like the Assimilated Europe, Isolated Europe, Alternate Future of the World, Alternate Future of Asia and the Alternate Future of Frozen Europe, which is personally my favorite. Canadian Mapper is another amazing mapper, which has created one of the most well-known Alternate Future of Europe series, which includes 2 seasons alongside their corresponding mini-movies. He has also created a sort of sequel, where you can see an improvement in the art style. He has also created other series like his Alternate History of Europe and the Alternate Future of Europe series. He has been criticized by some people because he hasn't put much effort into his videos, but I personally disagree and I have always loved his series for what they are, independently from the style. Turkish Mapper is a well-known figure in the mapping community, due to his involvement in most of the dramas in the mapping community, since the era of the invasion of bats, which were basically trolls with a bat profile picture and were very annoying for what I remember. I won't talk about them in the iceberg, they're basically trolls. I honestly don't think he should be judged by these dramas, since I have personally talked to him once on Discord and I can tell he is a good person. He mostly uploads versus nations, trends and in my opinion videos. Japanese Mapping is a very popular mapper, mostly for his Alternate Future of Asia series, which is personally my favorite project made by him. He has also done other series like his alternate future of world and viewer wars. He has also worked on shorter videos, mostly tutorials or meme-like videos, alongside collaborations, like the alternate history of Europe series, but also announcements about the next Mapping Summer Festival, of which I've talked about before. He has started to work on the remaster of his alternate future of world series, but right now it is discontinued, since he hasn't uploaded videos in the last 2 years. The Italian bull is a well-known YouTuber due to his huge quantity of dramas and controversies. All has started with him starting a drama with other Italian mappers, due to his comments on them, that didn't make much sense. Throughout only some months, he was basically at war with most of the mapping community, hating on everyone over the first stupid reason. For some time, it was thought that he was doxxed, but probably the person in the photos and videos wasn't him, and this person is probably not his father, only a misunderstanding. There was also a period where it was thought that he wasn't Italian but actually Montenegrin, but this accused was immediately debunked and probably the person who said this stuff was a fake account. He still uploads videos to this day about trends. Now we have entered the 5th layer, where the water starts to get darker and the light from the surface starts to become less visible. In the mapping community, there are several mappers who ship nations, which means imagining that 2 nations are actually a couple. How the hell does this weird stuff work in this case? Well, 2 nations start to talk, to then get more private, while they say goofy ass stuff, which can be seen as a representation of a date, and then, after a while, the 2 nations become a couple. The first thing that came to my mind was the alternate history of Europe series made by Chinese productions, where Japan manipulates China into thinking that they can become a cool couple, and Jesus Christ, it was painful. Despite this, I recommend you to watch the series though. Base Bulgarian mapper was a well-known mapper who made some of the most known series in the mapping community, inspiring many mappers. He was for some years the most subscribed mapper in the community. Some of his most known series are Alternate Future of Apocalyptic Europe, Blitzkrieg and Germany's War. He is seen by some people as a controversial figure, due to his video about the non-mappers. Romanian mapping is seen as one of the most controversial mappers in the community. His Alternate Future of Europe series is rated as one of the worst in the mapping community, with very low effort, terrible dialogues and most importantly, this. But it didn't end up here. He started to insult and send death threats to several mappers like Daniel Mapper, even using homophobic and racist slurs. He did a sort of remaster of his Alternate Future of Europe, which is better than the original. Right now he doesn't upload and it looks like he has participated in a music video. It was only a matter of time until the mapping community was full of ideological extremists and people who believed in conspiracy theories. Despite being quite weird to add, I can assure you that this is a serious reality in the community, and unironically, the mapper who taught how to do terrain maps, alongside other basic things, was a believer of several conspiracy theories, actually very weird ones. I remember when there was a period where Trump supporters in the mapping community started to do videos where Donald Trump started a civil war over the failure of the 2020 elections. Very weird times. East Belgium mapping is probably one of the most controversial figures in the mapping community, since he is right now the most well-known member of the raiding organization the Fourth, of which I've talked about before, and he is the one who ordered the raid of Macedonia, but also a Forest server, alongside other activities like hacking. HenryEditz is a very popular mapper, well known for his Alternate Future of Europe series, divided into 2 seasons, and he has announced that he will work on a 3rd season as well. He has been part of several dramas, due to his opinions over other mappers, especially Gilla, making several videos where he exposed them, but he was also part of the contingency mapping drama, of which we will talk about later. GGG502 is another controversial figure in the mapping community, due to his behavior. Many people have pointed out that his videos were very low quality, and as a response, he started to make videos or comments where he started to insult and criticize others. The situation worsened when Axon Mapping made a comment saying that he wasn't giving much effort over his videos, with which GGG502 responded with a video where he unsubscribed from Axon's channel. Several mappers have been involved in this drama as well, including Canadian mapper, Neutronix and HenryEditz, and he has stopped to be part of or stopped dramas only in 2022. Dutch Republic Mapping, also known as DRM, is a known mapper, which makes very high quality mapping videos, making a lot of well-known series, like Alternate History of World War II, Alternate History of Europe and The Restart. He is known because of the raid of his community, because of the discovery that it lacked the necessary permissions to stop any member from pinging everyone. Initially, it was linked to the 31st of August raids, yet later was deemed as an isolated event. The situation was so bad that he had to renovate the entire server, adding new bots and more mods. The two main participants of the raid were initially banned, but then they rejoined the server. He was also involved in the GGG 502 drama and took the defenses of Axon. We have reached the 6th layer. We're almost near the end. In this level, we will talk about a lot of events, dramas and facts that most of you have never heard of or completely forgot, alongside weird parts of the community. Let's start. With Mapping Lost Media, I talk about all those mapping series that have been lost to time for several reasons. For example, the termination of a channel or when a mapper decides to remove the video about the series. There are several examples of Mapping Lost Media, and some of them have actually been found and re-uploaded on YouTube, like the first season of the Alternate History of Europe series made by Federation Mapper, or the Alternate Future of Asia made by Portuguese Mapper, alongside which we will talk about later. Since there are a lot of mapping series, it is obviously inevitable that something became real. For example, in the Alternate Future of Europe by Kiev Mapping, he made a video where Serbia was amassing troops at the border with Kosovo, something that actually happened in the same period, and he even had to put a disclaimer to say that this video was done before the crisis. Another example is the video about the alternate Second Russian Civil War made by Foxy, who somehow managed to predict the period of the Russo-Ukrainian War and a far-right revolt, which actually happened. Royal Mapping was a YouTube channel where the creator Ray uploaded mapping movies without the consent of their original creators, and he has even claimed that he was the actual creator of all the series, which obviously wasn't true, and then, after some time, he deleted his channel. Portuguese Mapper was a very famous mapper of which I've talked a bit about before, who did, alongside the Alternate Future of Asia series, an Alternate History of Europe, both very well known and successful series. After some years, he was exposed and it was discovered that he traced the country balls and that they weren't actually his work, like he claimed. After this discovery, he deleted his channel, but fortunately someone uploaded his series. It's actually a shame that he wasn't as an original content creator as I thought, since I actually used to watch his videos. The 2019 crisis refers to two specific events: the continuous invasion of trolls and bats, alongside the creation of other raiding groups, but also the termination of several YouTube channels. There are two versions. It's all YouTube new policies fault, and some even speculated that Banana Split was actually helping YouTube, and then that some individuals, maybe even a dangerous raiding group, were behind these sudden terminations. But to this day, no one actually knows who did all of this. Well, actually this is not a very well-known drama, and it was pretty short as well. Axon Mapping, a famous mapper, uploaded on his YouTube channel in September 13, 2018 a video critique on Cheesy Waffles, another famous mapper, saying that he doesn't put enough effort into his videos, starting a little fight between Axon and Cheesy Waffles' community. The situation escalated further when Cheesy Waffles himself accused Axon of having deleted his comment, starting a little discussion between the two. For what I know, nothing more happened, so it probably ended there or a bit more later. We have finally reached the 7th layer, the bottom of the iceberg, the darkest waters, the point of no return, where you will find the worst part of the community, the most obscure one. Before starting, I'd like to advise that in the next entries we will talk about arguments that may trigger or disgust some of you, so viewer discretion is advised. Now we can begin. Hoop-the-Doo56 was a famous mapper known for his Alternate Future series, and he was a very respected figure in the mapping community. After he had officially left mapping, he started to do gaming lives, which were seen by a lot of people at the time. Unfortunately, he made a video where he said that he has scammed people using NFTs, gaining over $750,000. Substantially, it was a fraud, which is a serious crime. Gigolo is probably one of the most well-known figures in terms of controversies. His content is basically milking trends like Nation in a nutshell, and most of his mapping videos have a very low quality with which he gained a lot of subs and views. If this wasn't already enough, several mappers have exposed him, and what was discovered was very disgusting. He had a Telegram chat where he frequently asked about very interesting videos about animals, and after this discovery, he was raided. In his defense, he said that the chats were fake, but he gave zero context, so his version is not seen as believable. Contingency Mapping was a not so well known mapper who had his own alternate future of Europe series and was a close friend of HenryEditz. According to Henry, Contingency started to act in a weird way and he was unrecognizable since he started to chat with another group of people on Discord. Alongside this, it was discovered that he had an inappropriate chat with a minor, literally destroying his reputation. If you want to know more about this, you can watch the videos made by HenryEditz on his first and second channels. Astral Mapping was a well-known mapper which had a very huge public due to the success of his alternate Future of Europe series, divided into several seasons, alongside his alternate Future of the British Isles series. At the start of this year, he was exposed by his mods, which have discovered that he had inappropriate chats with several minors despite being a grown man. After this event, he terminated his channel, but still attempted to return by using an alt, but fortunately he was stopped before doing anything else. Right now, some of his videos have been uploaded on the Mapping Archival channel. Before talking about this, I'd like to specify that I don't have anything against the LGBTQ+ community. Well, the LGBTQ+ mapper was a geotuber who made very racist and provoking videos, but also disrespected other mappers or people in general, alongside hacking and raiding. After his channel got terminated, he made a fake piece with some of the mappers with which he had several dramas, but then he hacked the channel of one of them to come back, Hungarian Patriot's channel, but after a while he decided to leave YouTube as well, due to all the hate that he was getting. The worst things that he did though were, willingly admitting to have inappropriate videos with children and animals, supporting adults-children relations, but most importantly, he had inappropriate discussions with children as well. Today he is still seen as one of the worst people that have ever been in the mapping community. Thank you for having watched the video. I invite you again to subscribe to my channel and to like this video. Have a nice day.